Hello, everybody. Scott Golden here with Golden Opportunities Coaching. Welcome to those of you who are new. Welcome back to those of you who are seasoned veterans of what we do around here. What we do around here is discuss a wide variety of spiritual, psychological, and emotional topics, and coaching topics as well. We do that almost on a daily basis. We've got over 250 audios for you to check out. Hopefully, something of your benefit and liking is here. And today we're going to talk about borderline personality disorder. Just a disclaimer, this is not a diagnostic tool. If you believe someone you love or you yourself may be struggling with BPD, then certainly seek out counsel from a qualified professional, be it a coach, a psychologist, psychiatrist, or other qualified person. BPD is a very challenging thing because it's an emotional roller coaster for those that suffer with it, and we're going to run through about 8 or 9 things that may be signs that you're dealing or someone you love is dealing with BPD. So, BPD is the splitting of the mind in many ways. The splitting of the mind, including but not limited to the distortion of view of self, the distortion of how one views their impact and perception of themselves as it relates to the world, and the belief that they can't control or regain a level of balance in those perceptions. So it causes a lot of self-hate, which is the first point. A person with BPD often vacillates in negative emotion. So they may have fear and anxiety, immediately followed by anger and rage, immediately followed by immense sadness, and it's almost like walking on a tightrope. Things have to be just so for that person to feel in control, secure, happy, healthy, and well, and the things that might cause someone else to say, "Oh, that's unfortunate," or "That's rough," can easily send a person back into a negative cycle. So, if someone cuts you off in traffic, you may hold on to it for 15 seconds. A person with BPD might go, "See, everyone's out to hurt me, and there's absolutely no way for my life to get any better. I can't even go to the store." And it's this rush of negativity that comes from partial panic, but also a distortion that everything is out for their negative. Um, so that self-hatred of nothing ever can go right for me becomes a fixation for the person dealing with BPD. That leads to self-harm or self-destructive behavior. This can be sexuality, promiscuity. This can be use of alcohol and drugs. This can be cutting and other forms of self-injury. This can be reckless behavior like driving, way too fast or cutting corners too quickly. But basically, self-harm is any behavior designed to kind of regulate, punishment and potential danger to a person because they feel as though they are out of alignment with being able to ever get anything good in their life, so they just want to hurt. In order to feel, they just want to hurt because the only emotion that they feel they can regulate is emotional and sometimes physical pain. This obviously is very dangerous and can lead to severe depression and suicidal ideation. Matter of fact, BPD is a mental condition that is comorbid, meaning there are often many other mental conditions, or at least one other mental condition alongside borderline personality disorder, because it's an all-encompassing condition. So a person that has BPD, either hidden, covert, or out front, often deals with anger and rage they can't control or quantify. So the level of anger that a person with BPD may feel can come up several times in a day, several times in an afternoon or morning, several times in a week, and it can be over simple triggers. I once had a client who literally had to have an emergency coaching session because their favorite television show was preempted, and this um, caused such a negative reaction that they literally needed help to get through it. Again, that level of rage over things that, um, you know, is there. And then the other part of it is the rage is not always directed outward. Sometimes it's directed at the self, which is where the self-harm comes from. Things like thoughts like, I'm so stupid, nothing will ever get better for me, I deserve to be miserable, I deserve to be in pain. And so that then gives way to self-harm as a way of showing that internal turmoil, and that's very difficult. Understanding too that this disorder is an emotional roller coaster. So just because a person is happy or appears happy, or they feel like they've for the moment solved their Rubik's Cube of emotion, that can all be taken away in seconds or minutes for a person with borderline. I'm very passionate about borderline recovery. It is extremely difficult, although I have seen it, because I was raised by two parents that had different types of BPD, and so I understand very intimately how to help a person with it, but also the struggle that is literally constant. As long as that person is awake, even with medication, there is a chance that's better than 50% that they're struggling with an emotional state or a thought processes that makes their thoughts unstable and also their view of themselves uncomfortable at the very least. And so it really is a full-time job. Obviously, if you love a person with BPD or you're dealing with a person with BPD, it's a full-time job to be there for them. But secondly, it's a full-time job to live in their own head, in their own mind, and deal with the challenges associated with this. It's extremely difficult. It very rarely does it become, without understanding and identifying self-triggers and learning how to work around them, does it become something that's routinely manageable. Now, you can manage it for short spans of time, but understanding how to manage it for weeks, months, years at a time is about understanding one's triggers, catching them before they become dominant, and a whole bunch of other things, which is extremely difficult to do, especially if a person's in denial that they even have challenges in that area. The next is they become rejection obsessed. So we all fear rejection, right? Whether it's a date or a job or whatever's going on, none of us wants to hear the word no when we're going for something that matters to us, a partner or a friendship or a professional pursuit. But most of us can go, okay, well, that didn't happen. Maybe next time. Or there's more fish in the sea when it comes to dating. We can at least have a balanced thought that there's hope for change. So a person with BPD is going to often believe that because they've been through rejection before, they are destined for rejection. And so they may even experience mental fear paralysis in the idea of, well, I've been here before and it never ends well and no one ever likes me for me, and so I'm just going to get rejected. And this can happen even at the thought. So they're not even ready to pursue a person or situation yet. At the thought of maybe trying to meet someone new to date or applying for a job, that thought can lead those emotions to be an issue. The next is obviously unstable relationships. So unstable covers a lot of ground, but it's hard for them to maintain friendships because they'll idealize someone, and then when a person makes a single mistake, they feel betrayed, they feel hurt, they feel almost a level of hatred for the person for breaking their image of them. In work-related environments, a constructive criticism can literally seem like bullying to this person. Their sense of what a person's intentions are is often so negatively motivated that they can't get a real depiction of what is actually happening in a reality that other people can see. The next one is probably one of the last two are the hardest to spot, and that is impulse control. Because impulse control comes with its own set of disorders, many people don't realize that impulse control can be a symptom of BPD entirely. It can certainly trigger that and does lead to that in a lot of cases. There are many times where BPD can lead to any other number of, really difficult things, but if a person doesn't feel they can control their impulses, if a person doesn't feel they can get to a place where they are in control of their own emotions, they're more likely to again engage multiple times uh, in aggressive behavior or in dangerous behavior or in behavior that's counterproductive. And it's not that they don't understand. A lot of times, what happens is the behavior feels good in the moment, or it feels like nothing else matters anyway, so why not take a risk? And then they, much like with PTSD, they'll come down from it a few hours later and they'll go, "What the heck did I do?" Because there is the blackout part of BPD where it's like they don't necessarily realize, especially if they're disassociated, which is the last point, they're experiencing emotions from outside of their own body. They don't feel that they can control what's happening to them emotionally or physically a lot of the time. And so they are witnessing what's happening with them completely from a place of feeling that there's no control. Obviously, if any of these or a series of these symptoms present in your own life or someone you love, please seek help from a qualified professional, as I said in the beginning of the audio. But there is recovery, there is hope. It is a long road. It usually takes several months, if not several years, to get it completely under control, but there is recovery available. So hopefully this has been helpful. Keep your feet on the ground, your mind in the moment. Till next time, everybody.